Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Do you know who that is on your screen? That's Nada, one of the Bonjois, but much more than that as well. Nada is back. He's playing a lot. He has goals, and that is very exciting. So I just wanted to take a moment at the beginning of this so I don't run over the entirety of the game trying to talk about just how good Nada was. So that you guys can kind of begin to understand, okay? So Nada, he was one of the four great kings, okay? This was a group of players, Boxer, Yellow, Reach, and Nada, like very, very old school. We're talking like 2001-ish, top players. I guess for Nada, he really rose into part of his prime in 2002. He was the first person to win 3 MSLs. He was the first person, I believe, as well to win 3 OSLs, but maybe he was the second there. And he won the 3 MSLs in the same year, and he won the 3 OSLs in completely different years. And in fact, I Love Uv took over the mantle of best player in the world, and Nada still won Star Leagues after that. His career is one of the longest that anyone ever had in StarCraft. And he is considered the #1 genius ever to have played. Flash was once asked, like, oh, Flash, well, I mean, you're the most genius player, right? Like, who else is a genius? And Flash has emphatically said that he is, in fact, not a genius. He has gained all of his skills via hard work, and he only considers 3 players to be geniuses in StarCraft. Of course, as I'm saying this, you know that Nada is one of them and definitely the king of those 3. I'm sure people are going to be asking. So the other 2 were Choja and Life. Oh my gosh, that's a lot to unpack. But Nada, if it were not for Flash, he would be considered the GOAT. I have never met anyone that did not completely respect Nada and love his play. And he's back. He's playing a lot. He's got a goal of hitting 2,500 MMR, and Nada at 2,500 is pretty close to ASL level. He has been in one ASL where he almost nuked Larva to death, who later became an ASL champion. And yeah, I mean, there's so much more that I could say about him. He is truly one of the greatest ever to have done it, and we're going to start a little Nada deep dive, see where he's at so far on the ladder account that he has been streaming on. He has played 99 games, and he is at 2368 MMR, I believe. So 2368 MMR, which is quite high. At this level, you start hitting pros like a lot. So, it's very hard to get much higher than that since a lot of pros play at that level. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so as we get into this game, a couple of things. I went directly to Nada's ladder account, and I just downloaded a few games, very recent games of each matchup, so I did not cherry pick. I actually don't know who won or lost these games. I was not really paying attention to that, and I forgot because I downloaded a ton of replays. So, and also not all of these games will be against well-known players. BuzzerB, I don't know, like this is not like a famous guy or something. He's highly ranked. He's right around 2350 MMR as a Protoss player on the ladder. So, obviously he's going to be a pretty strong opponent to go up against, right? Like once you're hitting up into solid S rank of the mid 2300s, that is incredibly strong. The pros basically play right around that range. There's very few that play enough to really get to the top. And before you say, oh, it's Rich, it's not. Oh, it's Toggles, it's not. I have double-checked. I have looked at the stream of Nada and everything. And in fact, I'll put a link to Nada's stream if anyone's interested in watching him stream. And oh my God, it's going to be double proxy gate. But yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So anyways, yeah, this is very exciting. I'm very excited that Nada is playing and taking it somewhat seriously. If Nada were to come back and make it into ASL, that would be one of the most impressive things that I've ever seen. That is a similar level thing to Flash top 4 with random, I feel like. And let me tell you why that is, okay? In modern ASL, if your peak was earlier than 2007, then you can't make it in. Do you understand that? So, like, basically, 2007 is what we consider really modern StarCraft. And that's, like, basically every player that's in ASL was peaked somewhere around that time. So it would be like 2007 plus. Because if you learned before that, you're just mechanically not good enough. Now, Nada started winning Star Leagues in 2002, and by 2007, he would not win another Star League. So if he were to get to that level, that would truly be something else. Now, we have a double proxy gate Zealot Rush. Obviously, Nada sees that with the Marine. Luckily for him, he does have a reasonable SimCity against this. This is a great place to run through. And it might take him I don't know, like, how you're going to end up holding and making this factory. This is going to be very hard. You're going to have unbelievable micro, and you're going to have to really keep on top of putting the damage out. Because as the next few Zealots come, yeah, Nada sees what this is. So he might actually start a bunker, too. Like, honestly, I think you're supposed to start a bunker here. This seems very, very difficult to hold otherwise. Yeah, he keeps on rotating out SCVs, so that's good. But look at this, 3 Zealots coming out. Like, you can put 1 up here, because this is not wide enough for everyone. But he's focusing, like, maybe too heavily on getting rid of... Well, I mean, it's super important, because as soon as... Wait a second. What in the hell? Very, very good micro. And you can see he is getting that bunker up as well. Doing his best to just keep these Marines alive. My God. He does get the bunker up with 3 in. And the probe actually stands on top of that Zealot. So, you know, that does not go very well for him. Oh, God. The Zealot's getting on top of those Marines. But a nice pullback there. Nada has lost several workers at this point. And he is just targeting down workers now, it seems. Oh, God. Yeah, just turn and fight. Come on. This one's super low. BuzzerB here. He is being just so dirty with his play. But finally, the factory is done. Very good micro overall from Nada. And, all right, he pushes it all the way out and immediately counterattacks. This is one of the most important things. If you don't get yourself out on the map, the 2-gate production will just continue and become very difficult to fight against. Now, he's got 3 Zealots. This one's pretty low, but 2 Goons are about to pop out. He can't let the pylon go. He has to come down and engage because he needs those 2 Dragoons if he's going to win this game. By the way, did make a pylon wall. That's very standard because if the Vulture runs towards your base, you're going to lose. Ooh, the SCV actually blocks there a little bit. And yeah, as the Dragoons pop out, this suddenly becomes a terrible situation for Nada. So BuzzerB going to push him back very, very heavily. We might see a bunker go down. Yeah, he starts a bunker on that high ground, but this is a very tough position to play from. He does send the Vultures over towards the ramp, and you can see that's why this wall has been made. It takes Vultures forever to kill a pylon. And this bunker will be finishing just momentarily, so he should be able to get 4 Marines in. Yeah, and so he'll hold this. So he's definitely still alive. Now, this is tricky because if you just hold position, they'll kill the probe before it can really get up and make the building it wants to make. But if you don't target, then they'll just attack random pylons and not be able to kill one. So I just want to throw that out there as to why this is happening like this. A Dragoon comes up. Oh, a little bit of miss micro there from BuzzerB. If he had stood it right in the center, he would have been able to probably kill both of those Vultures unless there was an unbelievable amount of missed shots. So eBay on the way. Mines on the way. Mines on the way? Okay, well, he does have... Yeah, no, that actually does make sense because he does still have the 2 Vultures out. Because I was going to say, normally what you have to do is go siege mode to push down and take your natural. Because what they'll do is stand with an arc of Dragoons, and there's just not any way to push down without siege mode, basically. So I think what he'll do here is mines into siege mode. We don't really see constant SCV production here. Okay, there we go. I think he's preparing for the next stage of the all-in, but there isn't one because it's actually a Nexus going down for BuzzerB. So right now I'm looking at this game and it does not look good for Nada. He is making a starport, as we can see up here. So he's going to have some counterplay with a drop, but you can see that this is already kind of anticipated. Like BuzzerB is over here. Honestly, I think he should send it back to exactly where it was standing before, but I think what he's doing is zoning out these 2 vultures instead of looking for the drop, actually. Loses one of those vultures without laying any mines. That is rough, and he's not going to be able to get any of these mines down. At this level, you're absolutely not going to be able to just lay mines in front of Dragoons. So yeah, all gets picked off. Unfortunately, the mine's going to do very, very little for him, and he's actually getting the speed upgrade. So the speed upgrade is just specifically for this drop coming up. Also killing off the bunker. The bunker actually does interfere with gas mining slightly, so that makes sense. In the meantime, robotics on the way. He actually does need to kill one of these pylons. This is kind of sloppy that BuzzerB isn't doing that right now, because it's like, okay, he's not trying to push down yet, and he knows there was mines. Well, the mines is kind of normal since he had 2 vultures out, but like, you gotta think like, okay, if he's not pushing down for the CC yet, what else could it be? There's no one that would think that you can go 2 fact here and actually break through. That just would not occur. Robotics support bay on the way here for BuzzerB. And, well, we are going to have to get that siege mode next. Like, that has to be the next gas that he spends. He'll have to make, like, a vulture round out of there. 3 vultures going to be attempted to be dropped up here. I think he should left align a little bit more. Let's see if BuzzerB sees this. Okay, his Dragoon moved pretty quickly there. I think he saw the Dragoons getting pulled back slightly there because the tank was poking. And, yeah, he is quite ready here indeed. The SimCity not really the best here, honestly. Probably should just send this Zealot over to die. Pretty good micro here from Nada. Gonna pick off a few probes. Any damage he can get here is incredibly important. All right, eats a mine there. Oh my god. Oh, he almost gets back down. Okay, so after that, they're equal on workers, but we don't have the command center started yet. There's the command center. The dropship did get picked off, didn't it? I'm looking for it. Didn't see because I was watching the vultures. But yeah, I think he did end up losing that dropship, unfortunately. And, okay, so, like, here's the thing. Like, I'm very excited to see this. You know, I've met Nada. You know, he's a really nice guy. He's definitely someone that, you know, as a rising StarCraft player myself, like I watched every single Nada game during his career, like every single one. And so I'm very excited about this for a lot of reasons, but also because I think I'm actually going to learn things. Because there's just like, I mean, the fact that Flash says that Nada is just much more talented than he is. Nada's understanding in StarCraft is unbelievable. And I, like, remember when I said, like, you have to get Siege to push down? Well, what I've seen here, actually, I'll talk about it in a second because we have a Reaver drop coming in. So Nada going to push this Reaver drop back a little bit. And notice how he pulls these Marines back so the Scarab can't kill them all at once. We don't see enough players do that. That's actually very, very important. He does have a Wraith on the way as well. Okay, I want to talk again about the way he didn't use Siege mode to push down and instead just utilized his Siege tanks. So he went for the drop, which forced a lot of goons to be back here. Because normally what happens is they just rally every goon up here. And you go Siege mode and you force them back and you land your command center and they expand again. And, you know, it's a tough position, but it's playable. But the way that he did it, where he's like, okay, we're going to attempt to get some damage, which will hopefully make up for the later command center. But that's also going to allow a delayed siege, which gives more activity to Nada, right? So not only does he have dropship, well, I mean, obviously he lost it here, but you're not always going to lose it, and, like, you can make it again. Oh, my God. But he's also got Vulture Speed and Mines, which is that, like, if you can get Vulture Speed and Mines before Siege, that's very, very good. And he didn't have to waste gas on Siege early on because he forced a lot of goons to be over here. This is one of the big things in Terran, is the later you can get Siege mode, the better position you're going to be in. Siege mode is a very defensive upgrade. Obviously, you can use it in attacks as well, but it's a very defensive upgrade. Basically, a lot of Protoss builds and even, you know, we see it in Terran vs. Terran a bit as well, but a lot of Protoss builds are just trying to force Terran to get siege mode quickly. So the activity that we see from Nada here is much more than we normally see after a proxy 2-gate type of game. And he does perfect Wraith micro there. I actually thought he was going to lose it, but perfect Wraith micro during that and chases down the speed shuttle. You can just barely do that if you're microing basically perfectly at the Wraith. So I'm going to say I'm already like learning things watching Nada, because obviously, you know, every player plays differently. And while I think Flash is probably overall the best player to learn from, like looking at the way that Nada is thinking about how to play this game, the fact that he delayed his command center so much to get the drop off, forcing units back, allowing him to retake his low ground without the siege mode. He already had the second factory, so he had plenty of units. Look at the amount of activity that we have. He has mines all over the place. He's cleared this. He's got another dropship out. He had speed vultures up here trying to harass. He has a Wraith for anti-air. Like, I have chills up my arms right now. Chills. So he's down 9 workers, which is rough. But look at this. The tech is not that good. The tech is not that good for BuzzerB. Like, I'm looking at this. He doesn't have the second gas yet, and that's okay. Like, robo-based strategies. Oh my god, wait, what? This reminds me, like, this is old school right here. This is, like, not too many players play like this. We saw Noel playing like this a little bit. We saw TY playing like this a little bit in modern days, but that's about it. So what he did there was he ran up. He had vultures over here. He brought the dropship with the 2 siege tanks and then ferried over the vultures and got as much damage as possible. And look at this. And then he ferries the vultures that were over here as the tanks are getting cleaned up, and he ferries them into the main base to get more probes. Jesus. Dude, like, unbelievable. I am impressed. I know that BuzzerB is not like a famous, well-known pro or something, but like the guy has 2350 MMR as Protoss on the ladder, and you know, again, at this level, you're hitting pros very, very often, and players that want to be pros, like very strong opponents. And the thing is, I feel like he did get a lead with that double proxy gate, which, you know, it's hard to come out of that as Terran. Like, his command center was, or his Nexus was very, very fast after that. He blocked the drop reasonably well, but here Nada is just kind of out-strategizing him. Now, look at this. Diving in, he's dropping off with both shuttles. The Speed Zealot's getting on top of his siege tanks. I think Nada just straight holds this. It's not enough Zealots to get in there with. Really great setup. He does get a couple up here. And BuzzerB GG's. Damn. That was beautiful from Nada. Beautiful. Guys, I really hope, you know, people have been saying they do like the deep dives. I hope that you're, like, even if you're half as excited as me about this Nada deep dive, and just the fact that he's kind of taking the game seriously at the moment. We don't know where that'll end, by the way. I want to throw out a couple more things, because this will, you know, a lot of people be probably excited to have watched this Nada game. But we don't know. Like, does he have ASL aspirations? I don't know. The fact that he wants to get to 2,500, that is a very, very hard number to get to. And like, not at that number is like, we are borderline ASL at that point. Like 2,500 is super, super legit. So just the fact that he is actually practicing, because he's been kind of streaming, kind of playing games, but he normally does stuff like, you know, BGH or fastest map, like, you know, just more fun stuff. The guy is not a spring chicken. You know, he was born in 1984 to make that clear, right? So 41 right now. So, you know, I want to put that all out there. I'm very, very excited. It is going to be a deep dive. I hope that you guys are going to enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next Nada game.